Alright. So finally finished up the build guide. Gotta just check something here real quick, but now we're gonna do a quick showcase as always. So you can actually see the build is working and how it's actually working in action. So just give me like 1 second and then we're just gonna run some nightmare dungeons here. So we're gonna get right into it. Alright, so we're ready. So first of all, let's just find like a suitable sigil here. Like this build is really like super speedrunish, and unfortunately I have like, I don't want to have these here, but you know, I'm just gonna put them back. I thought I like put them on a mule, but apparently I didn't. Whatever, so I have no space. Perfect. So unfortunately I have like a gazillion sigils, and it's gonna be like, yeah. I just can't get through like sorting these. It's like such a pain. So I'm just gonna play like a random one for now. So these are all like stones. Like put all in my stash here right now real quick. So we're not like completely crazy. So let's just do some easy ones, right? First, get like a little warm here. Should be alright. So I'm running like armor elixir right now because I don't have an armor roll on my amulet and I'm kind of simulating it. In reality, if you would have an armor roll on your amulet, you could get like a better elixir, like attack speed, for example. But you know, this is like just fine for the moment. So I'm just gonna use this and gonna use this. Go. So don't expect this build to like, you know, carry you without ever dying. Like when you like run an extreme, like a high pace build on Sorceress, well, it's pretty much gonna imply that you're gonna die like once in a while. Like that is just like, Sorceress is like really, really squishy, and there's like really nothing we can do about it. That's just the state of the character right now. So, you know. Oh, I didn't. Nah. Okay. So this shrine is okay. It doesn't really change anything other than giving me like some extra crits. But usually I don't take shrines in showcases. It was like kind of an accident there. As you can see, like we can just, you know, speed through this. Like, and stuff behind me is gonna die, by the way. Like, I know I'm leaving stuff behind. Just like in preparation for the leaderboards, maybe, like, you know, you're not gonna loot anything, right? So I'm not gonna loot anything. And you're just gonna leave stuff behind, and it still dies, though. Like, everything which is marked, basically, will die. No matter if it's on your screen or not, in the end, it's gonna die. As you can see, like, we have, like, permanent unstable currents, no problem at all. If we can clear all these packs in, like, well, let's just call it, like, a very short amount of time. If I had Shaco, like, it would be massively better, but I don't have Shaco, unfortunately. So Shaco would buff this, like, so much, because, you know, we would get even lower cooldowns on teleport. Our flame shield would last, like, 0.5 seconds longer, which is actually huge. Arclish damage would be, like, 30%-ish more, or something like that. Lightning Spear, which also, like, they do quite a bit of damage. The damage would also be, like, significantly higher. So really, like, this, if you have Shaco, like, this build is, like, basically made for Shaco. Also keep in mind, like, Shaco is the only item capable of giving you skill limit skills in basic skills. So it's actually huge. And also, like, Genesis, obviously, or is it Ever Living? I don't even know. Evernight, like the other stone, basically. Also giving you like a +4 skills. That one also probably will be huge. I mean, I haven't got a chance to farm that at all since it was like disabled all the time. And now I don't have material, so I mean, I will farm those probably like when getting like a little closer to the leaderboards, but right now probably like inflated anyway. As you can see, like even in this last room, like it's like, I don't know, everything is like, it doesn't even like, stand like even any like kind of chance, right? It's like basically never gonna get out of stun. It's just gonna be dead like instantly. Bam, there you go. Tier 100 walled in, I don't know what it was, less than 3 minutes. It usually takes like less than 3 minutes. And I wasn't going the fastest. As I say, I don't have movement speed. Enough movement speed, let's call it like this. What is this guy? Oh, it's like the quest guy. So I'm missing like 15% movement speed or something like that. So that's actually huge because, you have to move. Like you cannot permanently teleport. You don't reach like these amounts of cooldown reduction. Obviously, if you have Shaker and like the Uber Stone, you're probably going to be, in the 5-second cooldown range. So that would obviously work, but again, like my flicker steps have like min roll movement speed and my amulet has min roll movement speed. So this is basically 20% movement speed I'm missing, which is huge. This isn't, well, I cannot tell you because I didn't play a Conjuration build yet in this. But it's a completely different style. Conjuration build is a very slow build. This is very fast build, so you cannot really compare these, I would say. Conjuration build is more like an overworld farming build. This is more like a dungeon speedrunning build. I wouldn't really compare these. But yeah, like it doesn't really matter which vault you play. Like you can pretty much do them all. You can also do the dungeons. You can also do dungeons with bosses. It's not a huge issue. It's just the bosses take like a little while. So they take like 30 seconds, 30 to like 40 seconds depending on the boss. Which, I guess it's kind of long. Like today, like it seems like everybody expects a boss to die within 10 seconds because like, other classes can do it. But, I mean, the fastest boss killer I have seen like is Blizzard. And Blizzard takes like 15 seconds for a boss, 10 to 15 seconds. So you will be like, 20 seconds slower than the Blizzard guy, but the Blizzard guy will take at least a minute longer for the dungeon. Because Blizzard is a pretty slow moving build. So, I guess in the end, unless you want to like do Uber Duriels, this build is like awesome, but I have no troubles doing Uber Duriels. Like whenever I play Uber Duriels, there's at least 2 buffs in there, or like rogues or whatever, other classes who basically one-shot Uber Duriels, so I actually don't care that I don't damage him at all. Yeah, you're welcome. Glad you like it. I really like the Fireball build. That was actually the first fire build I was playing. Because I haven't played fire in neither Season 1 or Season 2 actually. So, first time I played it and it was awesome. Without the Coronet, probably I would be like, eh, this is alright, but it's not amazing. But with the Coronet, like, it gives, like, so much, like, flavor to the build, basically. I really like it. So just imagine, like I had a 20% extra movement speed. I would really, like, these phases, like where you have to move, these really cost you a lot of time. Like the teleport phases itself, they don't really cost a lot of time at all. The time-consuming phases are the ones where you have actually, like, where you have to move. Because your teleport cooldowns are only gonna reset if you hit, like, a pack. If you don't find a pack, you're gonna get, like, these walking phases. And these are really gonna slow you down. Like, as long as there's something I can hit, it's not gonna slow me down at all. Oh, wrong way. But yeah, it's like you're moving, like, very slow. So, like, for these speed builds, I definitely recommend getting movement speed on Amulet. I know it shifted kind of off meta, like to have movement speed on Amulet. I don't even know why. With Asus boots, like it's... I feel like it's pretty strong. Even without the evade. But for this build, I definitely recommend it. Just makes you move faster. I mean, if you don't care, like, you know, you need like 30 seconds more, like, for a dungeon, and you rather want to... Well, that happened. And you rather want to, let's say, go a little bit slower, but have a little bit more survivability. You don't have to play it. Like, it's absolutely not mandatory. But if you really want to, like, speedrun, like, for, like... I think this trap did something to me. I don't even know. If you really want to speedrun, it's kind of mandatory. I mean, I don't know how it works with Shaco and the Uber Stone, actually. If I had those, maybe I could perma-teleport, but, you know, I don't really know. These are actually, like, dangerous, because these are all, like, shock. So if you, like, get an unlucky hit, like I just got, like, it's pretty much over for you. Yeah. Well, Starless Skies, you basically just replace the other ring with. Like, Starless Skies don't really need to, like, you know, take care of that. And I don't remember, like, what stuff... if there's resource, basically replace resource with the Uber Stone. On the other one, you can replace initiative with the Uber Stone. But I don't know, like, what exactly is on the build, like, on the top of my head right now. But basically replace resources and initiative. That would probably be the easiest. I mean, I can't even tell you, because I don't have Uber Stone, so I cannot really test it. But yeah, so let's see if we have, like, some non-walls here. So you can definitely also play, like, non-walls. Yeah, so what I'm saying is you take the ring with the Storm Swell and then put the, you know, the Starless Skies on there. Resource, if you have resource on the pet. I'm talking about pet. The pet has resource, or, like, you know, any other thing, like vulnerable or whatever it has. Then you put it on there. The ring, basically you just replace the regular ring. And yeah, that's pretty much how you would place it. Well, this is like a regular Dungeon Wizard boss, so it's maybe not the best showcase, but anyway. Like, for example, if, like, this storm, like, drifting things here, like, it's usually, like, not an issue for these kind of builds, because you're just faster than them. And as you can see, like, you know, as soon as you, like, even... Like, this is not optimal, because, you know, this dungeon has a pretty low mob density, so it's not gonna be, like, very beneficial for our, like, telestomping. But it's still gonna work. Like, you gotta, like, turn around and pick up the what is it called? The animus. So this is, like, annoying, because, you know, it takes like half an hour until, like, these bosses die and you can collect their animus. So it's probably, like, it's pretty bad showcase for the build, actually. But yeah. Oh. What? That didn't even explode. Annoying. Yeah, I don't care, like, I don't mind dying, like, it's not, like, you know, I'm doing anything important here, other than missing one of these guys, obviously. Like, I'm not running, like, these dungeons for anything, like, I don't need loot, I don't need live XP. The resources you get are not worth anything anymore, since, you know, they reopened trade and they basically fell to, like, 0, like, which is, like, kind of annoying. But, you know, that's how it goes. So yeah, you really see, like, that the slow movement speed is, like, so terrible. Like, drives me crazy. But, like, I don't know. I cannot really find a good flicker steps. I don't even have like one like with like a low cooldown on the ultimate with like higher movement speed. So, you know, I have to do more durials. Like at some point I will probably find a better one. But yeah, takes some time. Like in these rooms, like these storm chasers are like so annoying. Just gotta like walk everywhere. Wait. But yeah, in general, I think this is going to be like the leaderboard build. I mean, unless it's like, you know, for whatever reason not, like they showed it in the footage, like I think it was level 127 or so. You know, they might be level 127, but still have like, you know, absurd amount of hit points. Like, you never know, right? It's like random, obviously, but you know, if it is really like this, then we'll probably see builds like this in the leaderboard. Not like the high damage builds, not like Blizzard builds, because they move like very slow. It's more like going to be like these agile kind of builds. But it's all speculation right now, obviously. Nobody knows. Just an assumption. Also in this build, like the pet really helps, I feel like. It's like the first build where I actually encountered damage from pet. Because it does like quite a bit of single target damage. This is like a terrible dungeon. Takes forever. Right. One more. I'm also like confused with this new gold drop effect they added. Like it's... I don't really understand what it's about. Like it just looks different now, but... It doesn't really... First of all, it's not like in sync with the actual gold drop. I don't know, it's like a strange thing they added there. It looks cool though, but... Also, it looks like, I don't know, I feel like it looks like League of Legends style, like this gold drop. It's like, it looks like a comic gold drop. No clue. It's like, it's a little strange, I would say. I was looking for like another dungeon, actually. I want to have one with the boss. Yeah, you're real quick. I think I had Horfrost Demise somewhere here. Champion's Demise. Reduce cooldown on kill. This is obviously like, you know, this is an interesting showcase. I will probably overextend and die, by the way. But, you know, if you play a build like this with reduced cooldown, completely out of control. Like, you could even, like, use Asus boots. You don't even need Flicker Step if you have this mod. But, you know, we're just gonna do it like we do it. So I always want to, like, you know, cast Lightning Spear first, then cast Unstable Currents, and then start engaging. So you always want to have, like, the Lightning Spears pre-stun everything. If you don't do that, you're gonna die. Again, we're not running at Armor Cap, but even Armor Cap will not help you if you, like, stupidly run into mobs and overextend. But if you, like, you know, kind of discipline yourself to, like, do this, you get into it, like, pretty fast, like how it works. Like, also, it's, like, impossible to see if your, like, evade cooldown is up or not. You just cannot, like, look at the, at the skill bar if you're, like, going at a fast pace like this. So you just gotta get a feeling, like, or you can just, you know, perma-smash spacebar. But you kind of get a feeling when it's up, basically. Because it's, like, pretty important that, you know, if you engage into a pack of mobs, which is, you know, either going to be, like, unstoppable or already has been, like, stunned for, like, an extended period of time, and you engage into that pack and you don't have any teleport cooldown, you will pretty much straight up die. In this content, obviously. As, again, like, probably the leaderboards are not gonna be that hard monster level wise, so it's probably gonna be super easy. Hopefully. Would be nice to have something like, you know, where it's not like this whole one-shot damage avoiding playstyle, but more, you know, like a faster pace playstyle, where you actually don't have to worry so much about dying all the time. Yeah, so this is how it goes. Just go from pack to pack, like they instantly fall. Like it's really like the effect of the Paingorger's Gauntlet with the Arc Lash, that is like, it really does like a very high amount of damage, but it doesn't do like insane single target damage. Like you have to get rid of the packs. So on single targets it's really not extremely strong. I cannot see the... Ah, there it is. But you will see, like, there's a boss in this dungeon, so... Takes, like, as I said, it takes around 30 seconds, but only... I'm not very boss optimized. Also, I'm playing Control Glyph, which is, like, straight up 20% boss damage I lose, and another, you know, 150% additive or something like that, so... Could play, like, another Glyph to get, like, substantially more boss damage there. But yeah, I'm not really, like, into... I mean, I don't really care like so much about the bosses in this regard. Like if you like really want to farm Duriels, you know, it's gonna be relevant. But again, like I don't know, I have like a barb in every single Duriel run pretty much, which one shots Duriel. So I have like never needed my own damage in a Duriel run. Not even this season in general, basically. Well, last season was Ball Lightning Source, but Ball Lightning Source usually didn't kill Duriel before he was like, you know, going down, like digging in the sand. So Ball Lightning Source were okay, but it wasn't like the, you know, the cream of the crop. Like I didn't really care because, you know, if Duriel was burrowing, like all my builds were already like killing Duriel after one burrowing phase, even without like meta Ball Lightning. So... That's why I'm saying you pretty much always have a barb, and the barb is gonna kill it for you anyway, so... Let's see it now here at the boss. I don't know what the mods of the maps are. As I say, it's like, it's not terrible. Like, you know, it goes down fairly quickly. As soon as you stagger it, it's usually dead. So it's not like, you know, it's unplayable against bosses. Like, it takes like... What was this? It was like 20 seconds. Obviously, if you have melee defenders or stuff like that, it's a little bit more annoying. But in general, like, bossing... Like, killing bosses with this is no problem. If you're talking about stuff like Barshan or, like, you know, the other, like, the level 75 bosses, like, absolutely no problem. They go down within, like, you know, 10 seconds. Like, it's no different to any other build. Like, for those, it really doesn't matter. For Nightmare Dungeon bosses, it's okay. For Uber Durils, it's not perfect. Same with Uber Lilith. You have to play, you know, a couple of mechanics with this. But, you know, you only have to kill Uber Lilith once, right? And, you know, you probably already played a build where you could do it with. I mean, you can do Uber Lilith with this build, but it's going to be annoying because you have to play the mechanics. Because you don't really have straight up burst damage in this. I don't even know what these dungeons are. I'm gonna do another vault here. So yeah, I mean, you know, even I don't have armor cap. I have like 11k armor or something like that. As you can see, like I played, what, like 4 dungeons now, and I died once from like damage and once from like a, you know, poison explosion. So it's really not that bad, you know. You die once in a while, but there is no really, like, any phase tank Sorceress build right now other than low life meta, basically, which, you know, can phase tank all damage. This doesn't exist. I mean, I could go into low life builds, but I don't really see the need. I mean, I already have gear to, like, play. You can play all these builds low life, right? If you have like these high cooldown reduction builds, like this is like pretty easy to just transform them into low life. You just need to roll a stat on your amulet basically and on your pants. But in this build, you would have to, like, for example, remove T-balls, so it's gonna cost you like 40% damage to transition this into low life. You know, if this wanna do, you can definitely do it, but again, I don't really see the need of making a tanky build right now, because I still think like when leaderboards are coming up, it's not gonna be about the tankiness at all, so it doesn't really matter. And at this point, like I don't know, like I feel like farming these walls is like pretty straightforward. And even if you die like, you know, once in a while, it's not like dramatic. You still get like your loot, you still get through the dungeon like without any major issues, and it's like it's the best way. Like if you're still farming glyph XP and stuff like that, you don't want to play dungeons with bosses anyway if you're farming glyph XP. If you're farming glyph XP, you want to do these fast dungeons, and you know that just sometimes happens. Like these little constructs, they have like a weird attack which does like infinite amount of damage, which is like you cannot see it. It just randomly kills you sometimes. So wrong direction. So I mean, if you like wanna. And the entry requirement for this build is actually pretty low. Like, you don't really need, like, all this gear. Like, you don't need T-balls, you don't need, technically, you don't even need Flicker Step. Like, if you're still, like, in the early phases, you don't need Flicker Step. You basically just need the gauntlets. And if you have the gauntlets, you're pretty much good to go. Like, everything else is bonus. So you can probably play this build even, like, on level 50 or something like that. Or if you have the gauntlets. But, you know, realistically, you can farm the gauntlets on, like, level 70 to, like, 80. You can easily get the gauntlets. Then you could play this, and it will work great. Probably, it's not gonna work like this, obviously. Like, this requires, like, an absurd amount of cooldown reduction on your gear to play it like this. But yes, you see, like, if you have these larger groups of mobs, like, basically, the larger the group of mobs is, the faster it goes down. The Paingorger gauntlets is what makes this build work. That's why it's called Paingorgers. It's like everything is like absolutely perma-stunned. It would be nice to have like some crowd control duration with this also, but I cannot really fit it anywhere. I mean, this uptime on teleport is just absurd. Like... Poison gets a little bit out of control here, so I want to get like a little bit more moving around. But also, like with the teleport, if you have these elite packs, I like barely saw it when it was almost over. They really gotta work on the round effect. Like, so difficult to spot them if you're not like fully concentrated. No, I'm not using Burst Mastery, I'm using Overflowing Energy. Wait, what? I have to do it again? It was over! Wow. This game. These are like a little, tough. Right, this time... Dodge it. Defense doesn't really help you at all. Like if you die to these like weird one-shot like little monsters, like there's nothing you can do anyway. Like it's just gonna kill you no matter how much damage reduction or whatever you had. You're just gonna be one-shot. It's like these little constructs out there. they have like a charging spell or something like that. You can't even see it. Like they, I don't know if it's like they secretly charge it. And, you know, if they live for too long, like maybe like, you know, if they live for like 5 seconds and they charged up this spell, they basically like just insta-gib you. Like a strange mechanic. We have here. I've never played this. I don't even know what this dungeon is. I'm gonna try it. Yeah, HP is a little low. It's like 13 point something. I didn't really like put a lot of effort into it. But also HP is not gonna help you. Like it's primarily, I don't know, they have like some burst damage, which, you know, it's some bugged attack, which hits you like 15 times in a split second and you're just gonna die. But, you know, HP is nice to have, but if you're playing many uniques, you don't have HP, which is like unfortunate. Like if you have Shaco, you have like significantly more HP. I think Shaco has like 2100 HP on it or something like that. But basically, like Raiment has no XP, Raiment has no HP, T-Balls has no HP, so that's like 2 HP rolls you lose basically by playing these 2 items. And that it's actually pretty significant. And also that's why like but I mean 13.7k is not that bad actually for like, again, like this is not meant to be like a phase tanking build or something like that. It's more like, you know, you're so fast so you can die like a couple of times. It's going to be alright. So I have no clue what this dungeon is. Just see. You have like a relatively high damage reduction in this. You have like 30% damage reduction from Paragon glyphs and another like, you know, I think like 25% for DR2 burning, so it's relatively high. So damage reduction is actually not that bad in this build, but in general, like you're missing armor, and if you're missing armor, like it's not gonna help you, right? The melee, it's like you just can't tank them. You try to tank them, like it's just like not a good decision. It's not, well, yeah, I mean, you could say it's classic glass cannon, sure. Not like glass cannon, like, you know, basically not everything is gonna one-shot you, right? There's like certain mechanics which can one-shot you, but it's still like if I had like an armor roll on my amulet, it would be solid. Like with an armor roll on my amulet plus like an armor elixir, I would be at armor cap for tier 100 even. That wouldn't be an issue at all. So it's not that terrible, but, you know, that's always, if you play like these high damage unique items, they're gonna make you less defensive. That's just how the items are designed. If you play like defensive chest and defensive pants, you know, you're gonna pretty much survive most of this stuff, but you're still gonna get the random one-shots from like, you know, certain mobs. It's just happening. Cannot like do anything about it. Which is like, you know, one thing I most like dislike about this game. These random one-shot mechanics are just not enjoyable. Like, I don't know. It's like all kind of bugged abilities on monsters. It's also like, you know, how tier 100 is tuned. Like, it's just like in general, they tune tier 100 like in a way where like certain classes have no issues with that. Like, you know, barbs or druids or whatever. Like, they just have like... you know, double the amount of HP, like they have like the armor cap, no problems, and they have like absurd amounts of damage reduction, they have fortify and all these things, right? So, for those, like the tuning for tier 100s is like fine, but for Sorceress, like Sorceress just has no defensive layers at all, other than, you know, Flame Shield and stuff like that, but it doesn't really have anything to mitigate damage effectively. Other than playing like low life tech or having like, you know, Melted Heart Amulet, which is like uber unique. And I just feel like that's like not, like the way the tier 100s are scaled, like with the monster damage is just, you know, I feel like it's not the right way. They should rather scale like the monster HP or like scale their damage, you know, doing a little bit less damage but more consistently. You know, that you have to like sustain the same amount of damage, but, you know, over a little bit more time than just, you know, a split second one-shotting you. Would be much better to just say, you know, it's not one-shotting you, but you're gonna receive, like, fatal damage within, you know, 2 seconds or something like that. So you gotta kind of, you know, heal up within those 2 seconds. And, you know, if you're not defensive enough, you're gonna die regardless, but you're not gonna get, like, the random one-shot. Just have to, like, find this. This is like the... I played this dungeon before and I, like, had no clue where I have to go with these bloodstones. I play Teleport and Firebolt enchantment. This is like... I remember exactly the same thing happened last time when I played this dungeon. It's like so... I think it's somewhere there. This is like such a strange dungeon. The layout is like so... You know, usually like in all the dungeons you like come across the pillars for these stones first, so you actually know where you have to go. But in this dungeon you come across the stones first, which is like completely annoying, because, you know, you don't know where the fuck... So, you know, I had to go like everywhere here because I had no clue where the pillars are, and now, you know, I know them. After I found the second stone. It's like terrible dungeon layout. I guess there's a boss at the end. So yeah, this is probably a dungeon you don't want to run. So basically, like, you know, most of the boss damage here is not... I mean, a substantial amount of boss damage here is coming from the pet. Which is like, you know... It's great for this build that the pet does so much damage. Well, teleport, basically, you gotta... Teleport is for flicker steps to reduce your ultimate cooldown, basically. And also, like, it makes you get around, like, just much faster. Since this is, like, a speedrunning build. Obviously, we cannot speedrun, like, dungeons which are not speedrunnable. But yeah, if you, like, everybody would like to have Shaco, like, then it would be, like, completely out of control. But, you know, I feel like it's pointless making build guides with uber uniques you don't even have. And if you have them, it's still pointless because, you know, 95 of players cannot use them. So for walls, like, it's really the best for walls here, because they have, like, this you have this consistent stream of mobs. Mobs are basically your, like, fuel in this build, like, because you know, you gotta jump from pack to pack, and that is reducing your cooldowns and everything. And if you don't have packs, like, your whole teleport, like, you know, mechanics, you know, don't really do anything. You don't have mobs to, like, hit. If you have mobs, like, really good. Sometimes, like, you know, if packs take a little longer, like, it can be a little bit dicey. Because, you know, the lightning spears might have already pre-stunned them, so then there's, like, a certain, you know, duration, as you can see, and then they come out of stun faster. And then, you know, if you don't happen to have, like, you know, flame shield up at the same time, it's getting, like, a little bit dangerous. As long as you're, like, fast enough behind your lightning spears, it's okay. But if you go too slow, like, it can be a little bit dangerous. But in general, no huge issue. Yeah, just imagine I had like 20% extra movement speed. I would be like so much faster in the walking phases. Like, not even like. You could also, by the way, like, you know, I mean, also depends on the speed, like on the kind of content you're running. But you could also get like movement speed after killing elite on amulet, which is also a stat you can get on there. I don't know how high it rolls, but I think it rolls up to like 35% or something like that. Depends on how close you are to the movement speed cap. Because I think I'm like relatively close to the cap already. You cannot have more than 100% basically, so you have like well, I basically just have like, you know, 32 from amulet and boots. Then I have 9% from my Paragon. So that's like what, like 45%ish. So I can get another 50%. And I have in skill tree, I believe it's like 30-ish% after killing an elite. So you wouldn't even need it. So to reach cap, you probably would just need, you know, a little bit better rolls on the boots and a little bit better roll on the amulet. Maybe even one max roll would already be enough to reach movement speed cap. And it's a huge difference. Like, even though it, you know, it just says like it's another 20%, it's really like movement speed. The difference, it just feels huge. Like, you're gonna reach the next pack faster, then your chain reaction is gonna go like continue faster and stuff like that. So it's really like a significant difference. I mean, I don't have the worst gear possible, obviously, but you know, I'm at this point, like, I'm kind of running out of like gear for new builds. But there's only probably just one more build I will do before leaderboards anyway. I just want to do like a pure conjuration build, and that's pretty much going to be it. Then I'm just gonna do like, you know, some relaxed Duriel farming. I don't really see a point in like, you know, doing like a Blizzard build. I think Blizzard is like such an easy build to play. Like, you know, there's like a bazillion Blizzard guides out, and you know, just don't use the one which incorporate like Meteor into it. That's just like stupid clickbait. But if you play pure Blizzard, they're pretty much all the same, the guides. Like, really not much you can do wrong. Not sure if I will make one. Maybe, like, depends when they announce when the leaderboards come. Maybe there will be still time for Blizzard guide. Because I don't think I have like a very good Blizzard guide on my channel yet anyway. So maybe I should just make one. I think I have all the gear for Blizzard anyway. Oh, gotta be careful with the volcanic. Yeah, but this is like this is like absurdly fast, right? So this is, if I had Shaco, like, I wouldn't even like need to, you know, sometimes I need to like stand still for like a second and hit. I think if you have Shaco, you probably just have to like do 2 Arclash swipes, and that's gonna be it for every pack. Oh, Uldo's Cave. Could take this one. Like, I really like Uldo's Caves. I find so little of these. Like, I probably like, you know, found like, I don't know, like 1,000 sigils already, and I maybe found like 5 caves or something like that, if at all. Like, so rare for me. This one's gotta be a little bit careful here. Like the spark ones, like, they kind of hurt. Ooh, Oh, no, 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 no. That was close. It's also nice because you can like react so fast when these lightning explosions happen, because you have like this extra teleport on evade, which, you know, it saves your life like so many times. Yeah, like again, like if I would have like had to run out of there, like there would be absolutely no chance to like run out of there, because the movement's just so clunky if you're like, you know, standing at one point until you like, you know, actually move your mouse and move out of there. Like it is like really slow reaction. If you have a teleport, like it works, but without movement movement spells, you can basically not like, you know, dodge these explosions. Once you're like in, you're pretty much dead. Like there's no way you're gonna get out. All right. I don't know, like, you're playing Firewall, like, the Meteor with Fireball, really, like, I feel like it's not, I feel like it's not so, like, bad, like, covering the screen. Firewall obviously covers everything, but Firewall is kind of weak. Anyway. I don't even know if you find more walls in the walls or not, actually, like, it might be. But I don't really know. I cannot confirm. Could be. I find like walls in I don't know. Firewall, firewall, firewall. Firewall is the only leveling build. How did you find Starfall in level... Oh, you found it in World Tier 3? Well, it's even better. Like, still play Firewall and use Meteor. Like, that is absolutely fine. I mean, I honestly, I cannot tell. Like, it might be just a feeling, you know, it might be true, it might be not true. Like, you know, I really have no idea. Like, I find walls in, like, regular dungeons, I find regular dungeons in walls, and vice versa, like, if it's really more or not. I couldn't tell. I can tell these wasps, like, are, like, violent. My problem is rather like I get too many sigils and I'm too lazy to like sort them out. And then they're cluttering my chest space. And whenever I try to find the good one to run, like, you know, at some point I gotta like clean them up. It's like my biggest issue with this game, that it's just like so tedious to like clean up your stash space. And then I end up not doing it and, you know, postponing it to like a later point of time, which then is basically going to be never. Yeah, I don't understand why they make all these things like items. It's like so, I don't know, like in the very beginning, like why, like even like releasing the game was in that state. Like I really don't understand the system. Like I mean, you could already know, like, you know, there's like mats which basically would have to stack like somehow. Like then you give me like an inventory of like, I don't even know, is it like 20 spaces or 25 maybe, even like 30? I don't even know how many. But you know, not just like making systems to store these things in the first place. It's just... Right, I don't even know, like... And then, you know, why not just like, Path of Exile, they did it smart, right? They gave you, like, a map tab, so you can sort your maps in, like, your infinite stash tabs. And they sold it for, like, $10 or whatever. But, you know, it shouldn't be, like, so difficult to, like, make a, you know, a working storage solution for in-game items in, like, 2024, right? I think it's just because of console, really. I think they made it for console because they really didn't even, like, care about the core gamers. They would be just, yeah, why would these guys, like, collect so many of these items? They're playing console. You know, they spend, like, a couple of 100 hours maybe in the game, and it's gonna be alright. We don't need all this stuff. We just want to sell, like, you know, a couple of million copies of this game. And, so that's probably why, like, they didn't put anything in there like that, because they didn't even care. They would be like, you know, get the maximum amount of money of the franchise with the least amount of work. So why would you make, like, you know, some intelligent storage solutions? Would probably need, like, another UX designer or two. Wait, what? Oh. Not yet. For Lilith, Blizzard is the best build. Blizzard is the best boss killer build. Period. But I wouldn't even make a build for Lilith. Like, I mean, you know, if you want to kill it, like, for whatever reason, is it probably part of the season journey, right? But, you know, it doesn't even drop anything. I feel like it's not really, like, an interesting challenge to do it. I mean, I killed it because I wanted to make, like, some random video, but, you know, I feel like Lilith is, like, such a stupid benchmark because, you know, basically you gotta, like, have a lot of burst damage in phase 1 to avoid some one-shot mechanics. And phase 2 doesn't even matter, it's gonna be the same with any build. Like, you're not gonna be damage capped anyway. Flicker Step. Flicker Step reduces ultimate cooldown when you evade through mobs, and together with evade, with teleport enchantment basically, and Raiment, you can just, you know, it basically pulls the mobs first and then, you know, rolls the Flicker Step bonus, so every mob you get with the Raiment basically reduces the cooldown, so you pretty much always get the full 10 seconds. So you just gotta, like, evade 3 times basically into, like, 2.5 mobs to have, like, your ultimate fully reset. If I calculated that correctly. Oh, I hate this dungeon. I mean, I don't hate this dungeon, but you have to be so fast. Because these exploding guys are just gonna one-shot you. And then you have to move back because they spawn mobs. Which is a little... Well, the lightning spears usually kill them behind you. Which is another good thing about having lightning spears. They really travel very far off screen. But yeah, now, like, you know, there's no way for me to get out here. To wait for them to die. This rage. See, there's the vault. So, I don't know, like, I just feel like, you know, there's no significant difference in what kind of sigils drop. Would be logical, though, that there should be more vaults dropping when you're actually playing vaults. But, you know, with Bliss, like, nothing is really logical, right? Oh, this is, like, annoying. Also, whoever made, like, this system that the poison will prevent you from, you know, using these levers. Like, I don't even know why. Like, what's the point? Just such terrible things. Like, these terrible, little terrible things are completely out of control. Not even a huge issue, but annoying when you encounter it. Oh, I hate these exploding things. Problem is also you cannot see them when you like pull them and there's like one of the exploding ones inside. You cannot really see them and they're gonna one-shot you regardless. Like, they actually not always gonna one-shot you. You can survive it, but you need like a significant amount of damage reduction for this. They are also hidden like below these piles. So you gotta be like super careful. Poor guy. I shouldn't waste so many Vaults of Cinders. Like, I feel like Vaults of Cinders are super rare. Like, I don't know, it's probably not like that because, you know, I'm just primarily running them because they're most enjoyable. But if I'm making guides, like, if I don't have enough Vault of Cinders to, like, record videos, like, it's, like, really, like, annoying. So I don't want to, like, waste all the good dungeons. Which is not like, you know, it's not a huge problem to play the bad dungeons, but if you're like recording stuff, you just don't want to record like terrible dungeons. Because, you know, in general it just doesn't look appealing. I mean, you can say, yeah, of course, like, you know, it's a good showcase if you can also do the terrible dungeons. But I feel like it's not like so good for recording. To make it with like weird dungeons. But the vaults are all fine, like really. Cinders and Ink are the best vaults, like from, I don't know, they just play the best way, I feel like. But the other ones are alright too, like, it's not gonna be a huge issue. These one here have like these little wasps, which are like a little bit annoying, I would say. But it's also not like, not impossible. I don't know why they all say like the Vaults of Stones are like so terrible. I don't really feel a huge difference in between these actually. Just the Cinders like being the best one because it's just like straightforward and it doesn't have like these objectives where you have to like move around and stuff like that. Besides that, I really don't see like so much of a difference in there. The monster sets are different obviously, but it's the right way. Also, by the way, like if you're playing this perma-unstable currents, it's not like you have to use Arclash to activate it, right? But it also activates on teleport and stuff like that, so even if you're like teleporting around a lot, you will still get a lot of procs out of unstable currents, even if you're not even attacking mobs. So that's like kind of a good synergy there. As you can see, like, you know, there's this number of ball lightnings flying out there. There was like, you know, probably like 12 ball lightnings or so. And I really don't have the fastest attack speed. I have to click this. So I really just run like 30%, not even 30%, like 27 or 26% basic skill attack speed. That's it. I'm not running anything else. I have to put it here. I don't care about Butcher, I don't kill it. Just run past it. But I think Butcher is in here. I think it's always like the son of Malphas or whatever it's called. these monsters, for example, are pretty easy. They don't really have like any hard attacks. But there's some hard monsters in these last rooms. Oh, this. Ah! Okay. Yeah, it's not always, but you know, they said there's some kind of a correlation, but I've played dungeons with goblins and butchers and, you know, vice versa and not, and I don't know, there might be like some kind of a correlation, but it's not a 100% thing. Pick up all these stones. I can probably stop picking up these stones already. It's not even gonna matter. I wish I would be bored having all these uniques. I haven't even killed this boss in this vault boss, this Uber Malphas or whatever it's called. I haven't even killed it yet. So I don't know, I feel like I don't really have like any intention. This is a different build. This is faster, but this requires pretty significant gear. And this is not so defensive. So it really depends, like Meteor is definitely more relaxed. Oh, this is a good one, right? Oh, this is a very good one. Nice. I'm gonna use that. Gonna be 1% extra damage right there. Alright. Skull. Wait, this is minus 9.2. This has 9.4 even. 36 non-fizz, 34 non-fizz. This is like better in every single regard. And it's 925. So I get like an extra... Oh no, I don't even get extra auras. Thought it would scale, but it doesn't. Well, I don't have any more room. It's somewhere. So let's see what I already activated, right? Betrayer's Row. I still don't remember these dungeons. I can't remember the new dungeons at all. This is something I don't know. Would be cool if you would, like, you know, hover the sigil and you would see, like, the minimap. Oh my god, this is, like, the worst dungeon of all. I'm gonna die multiple times calling it now. So... This is, like... dodging these little green wasps. Like, no way. It's, like, so terrible, these wasps. Can't deal with it. Anyway, I'm gonna finish this. Isn't it like horrible because they shoot their projectiles before you see them, but they still aim at you, so this is like pretty much the counter mob for this build. Because they will shoot them out before lightning spear hits, because they fire like basically off screen. So this is like really, really the worst monster for this build. I think they are not in the second part of the dungeon though. I wish these what is it called? The fireflies from my companion would fly faster. It's so slow. More of them. Oh! I feel like they also have like kind of a stun resistance or something like that. I don't know, like... I don't have this issue with other mobs. It's just with those. At least. Oh, I guess the second part doesn't have them, right? Yeah, the second part just has these ghosts, which are not that bad actually. Because they're just gonna be pre-stunned and not gonna be hitting you. But yeah, like for singular mobs, it's like really not such a great build. But these also have like some kind of a damage, probably like PR from close or something like that. Oh, monster life, okay. Definitely feel like the 30% here. But that's why you have the good synergy with the pet. So even if you have like these single target mobs where you don't really do optimal damage, it usually goes pretty fast. Like the pet will deal with them just fine. It's just gonna be like, you know, a little bit slow because these fireflies just don't. Well, I'm not the fastest guys. Let's just put it like this. Also, like this volcanic is driving me nuts. What? Oh, okay. So, like these little red ones, right? I don't get this. Like, they just stand there, and if you go like into them, they're just gonna hit you, but they don't have an attack animation or anything. They don't have like any, you know, audio which is telling you that they might kill you in like a second or something like that. That's like also like one of these things I really hate. And they shouldn't hit you if the mob's already dead. That's also like something I don't really accept. Wait, what? I'm missing one? One more. There's no one. What? What? I didn't miss anyone. There's gotta be some like... No. This is also like these little things annoy me like so much. Like, why do you have to pick up this animus? Right? Why can't you just kill the mob and it's gonna count automatically? It is like, now I have to like walk the entire dungeon. I don't even see it on the minimap and it's probably even bugged. Or maybe there's like another carrier there, I don't even know. They should at least mark them on the map. Like, just put map targets. It's just like... I don't know. These things like annoy me. So try it out. Like this is one, if you have the gauntlets, it's pretty easy. Like you don't really need that. I mean, most of the gear you're gonna have anyway. Like you're gonna have an amulet with damage reduction, with you know, cooldown reduction. Most of the gear pieces are pretty common. The rest is optional. Like you don't need T-balls if you don't have it. It's not a big deal. You don't need to have Conjuration Mastery on your amulet if you don't have one. You can use your Devouring Blaze one just fine. It's not going to be a huge issue. It's just a little bit better because... But usually everybody plays like Devouring Blaze amulets, and that's why everybody pretty much has a very good Devouring Blaze amulet. But this build really doesn't have high crit chance, so it's not so great. I mean, using Melted Heart is like, you know, if you want to play a relaxed build where you can't die, you know, you can do it, but you're gonna lose like, you know, 60% of your damage like in return. So I guess, you know, it's like a trade-off you have to do. Because the amulet slot is just like so important. But you can play it with pretty much every build. It's probably better with builds which actually regenerate resource. I mean, I haven't played the new one at all. I don't know how strong it actually is if you don't play resource generation. Because this build doesn't have any resource regeneration, so... Not sure how it like behaves. how fast you're gonna like refill your resource. Or if you need like a, you know, like a lightning build kind of thing where you can actually regenerate resources, this was like so clear. That's what I mean. If you stand like in these effects and you don't have teleport up, like there's no way you're gonna get out. Like they explode way too fast for like this clunky, like it just takes like, there's like latency to move out of them, which is like, you know, you have to click somewhere and then it starts moving, but there's like, you know, kind of latency, I don't know. Even though it's like, you know, probably just like 0.1, 0.2 seconds latency, like just... It doesn't start running at full speed right away. And then these explode so fast, so there's no way you can get out. And that's another thing I don't really like at all. I don't like this mechanic. It basically just makes, like, you know, there's pulled stuff unplayable. But, you know, it's also like, you know, I want to play the different dungeons. I don't really want to, you know, exclude these Dash Pulse ones. But, you know, you should do it because they're just terrible to play. And if it would just last, you know, a little bit longer until they explode, like another, you know, half a second or so, it would be fine. I feel like this mechanic is way too punishing. Like, you really have, like, no time. Like, you have to, like, speeding like a madman to, like, not get hit. It's a little bit too fast, if you ask me. You can do it if you're like boards on the walls, but in general it's like pretty stressful to play this mechanic. Oh, so many stones here. Really? All I wanted was picking up this bloodstone and then I get backstabbed by like a couple of random mobs. Well, this build will probably be good in gauntlets. If the gauntlets are the way they have been shown. But nobody can tell at this point. But if the gauntlets really have low monster level, then this build is going to be amazing for gauntlets. If the gauntlets are really like a challenge where you have to like spec into survivability and everything, so maybe they, you know, do it different than they showed. Maybe they just randomly showed it at like a certain monster level, which is not going to be the reality. Like, we can pretty much not know. By all what we know now, like, walls would probably be like, you would have to get like a very high mobility and not so much peak damage. That's the information we have now. That information is going to be valid, nobody knows. Based on this information, this is basically probably the best sorcerer build for vaults. Because all the other builds are just going to be significantly slower in movement speed. Especially Blizzard. Like, Blizzard is considered to be the strongest sorcerer build, right? But it's slow. Like, it's slow moving. Basically all like unstable currents builds are slow moving. Because teleport is basically your best movement ability, and only these cooldown reduction style builds can give you, like, you know, very high uptime on teleports. Yeah, no chance to get out there without, you know, just smashing teleports, smashing evade, but, you know, if they're both on cooldown, like, there's no chance you can get out of this. Anyway, don't need to kill anything here. Really don't want to play this. So, I mean, this is, unless there's information released that the vault's going to be completely different like they showed last time, this is going to be my vault, the gauntlet. This is going to be my gauntlet build. This is like terrible, boss. Well, for this build, actually not so terrible. What? I so dodged that. So mainly I don't understand why people are complaining about builds having low boss damage, because if you just use the construct to kill the bosses, like pretty much, you know, this is like in the range of like 5 to 10 seconds difference, no matter what build you're playing, because this construct is going to take the boss out fairly quickly. Just check something here real quick. Did I activate it? Yes. Wait, what? Where is it? Why doesn't it tell me to... There it is. So I'm gonna do a couple of more, but I'm almost full. So not gonna be a very long stream today. Just wanted to get this out today. Oh, this is like... Oh. So you kind of have like burst, but it always depends a little bit on the cooldowns. What I like about this build is if you have the permanent unstable currents, that you don't need to pick up crackling energy. Because the unstable currents works without actually picking up crackling energy, so you don't need an actual charge for it to work. And that's like, you know, it's freeing up a lot of skill points. Actually, like frees up like 3 skill points, but still. I feel like it's like a great benefit of playing Flicker Step. And I didn't actually know that, I just found that out, like... I mean, I was suspecting it, but I never got, like, the chance to test it, and then, you know, usually I always had, like, crackling energy in my builds, because, well, with, like, other than Flicker Steps, which I personally don't really like, but it works very good for this build, usually there's no permanent unstable currents build, which you can play here, so you would always have to play crackling energy if you're playing overflowing energy. Because otherwise you would have downtimes. And with this build, it's like the first build where I don't have to do it. The only like downside is you cannot play Charge Glyph. Haven't actually tried if that might even work with overflowing, with unstable currents, but I don't think it would make any sense because there's picking up crackling energy, and I'm not picking up crackling energy. But yeah, like, my problem always is, if I play basic skill builds, right, I don't have crackling energy, because, yes, there's the lucky hit crackling energy generation, but that, like, literally doesn't really work. Doesn't give you enough crackling energy to sustain. And then you always have to rely, like, on the chain lightning effect, for example. Yeah, I don't need damage numbers, it's just like... You know, there's already like so bad visibility of all like the ground effects and everything, and damage numbers are just gonna make it worse. Also, this build doesn't have high damage numbers, so just has a little. It has a lot of small damage numbers, basically. Porter. This is like one of the dangerous ones again, because every single one of these are pretty much gonna drop like a poison bubble. So I really want to be like careful avoiding those. Like the mobs itself are no issue, but the ground explosions are. see. I'm soon out of glyphs to upgrade, then I finally cannot forget upgrading my glyphs anymore. That's going to be amazing. Not that the glyphs I'm upgrading do matter at all, but... Also like something which is like, you know... There should be more glyph levels, I feel like. Just give it like, you know, like how's that called? Like hyperbolical or something like that? Like the other way of exponential? Or make them like very exponentially require more XP, so you can at least upgrade. So even if it would take like 50, you know, vaults, that I could even like get at least like 1 or 2 more levels on my glyphs. Because right now, like, I'm pretty much doing it for no reason. That would be also a nice addition. Just to give, like, you know, it's a little bit, give me a little bit more of hardcore farming, or a little bit more at least of, you know, at least something meaningful to do with these glyphs. Wouldn't hurt the game if you would just make it like scale a lot, and you know, in the end it's just going to be like a couple of extra additive damage points which do not really matter at all, but it would give you like something you know, something to do when you have like all tier 100s farmed. Like, I mean, we're like what, like 2 weeks into the season now, and you know, I have all my glyph maxed. I can still run nightmare dungeons, but I don't run, like, I basically just run them for showcase or to make guides, but I don't need anything from the nightmare dungeons. No loot is going to drop there, like the materials from there I don't need. Like, I don't need to play the beast in ice. I get like a bunch of these, you know, these distilled fears, which I need for absolutely nothing, so pretty much doing it for no reason. Would be nice if there would be at least, you know, some more glyph upgrades or something like that. Would be pretty easy to implement such a system, but I guess I'm like not primary target here. Oh. At least the Shadow Drifter's not one-shotting me. That's like so refreshing that there's a single mechanic in the game which is not one-shotting me. Absolutely amazing. But at least I like the new gold dropping mechanic. I don't like that it's not in sync with the actual gold drop, but you know, it looks kind of cool. But it's also looking like kind of comic style. So I kind of like it, but I also don't like it. It's like, it looks like so much when it drops. And then it looks like way less when it's on the ground. I don't know if that's intentional or not. Also, like, I have no clue what I actually have to think about this Luna event story. Like, they're gonna be empowering shrines. I don't even know what that's gonna be. I hate shrines. I hope they don't put that in the leaderboards, like the empowered shrines. By the way, fun fact, did you know you can pick up, you can open the chest while you're picking up the item? Well, what is going on with these guys here? Do we even have to go? Yeah. So yeah, goes pretty fast like this, right? Also, it's like easy if you like, you know, get your ultimate cooldown, you just pop it, then you just do like a couple of space evades, and you know, it's right back there. Like really, don't even need to like pay very close attention how many mobs you actually hit with this. Just pretty much works automatically. I don't even know if I should like still do like these chests. I mean, I don't really care about the gear, and I have the stones maxed out by now. So I probably don't even need this anymore. It gives you like some more item drops, so if you're really like picky, just, you know, picking up amulets, for example. It kind of makes sense, I guess, but also takes a long time to sort through all of these. Yeah, upgrade my glyph, yes. Guess I'm full. I don't have enough stash space. Let's see. Let's see how it looks like in my stash. Oh, there's still some room. It's the little things which make you, like, you know, happy. You find like some extra stash space, for example. Okay, these are all full. Can go do a couple of more. What? Lightning Storm? I'm gonna play Lightning Storm. What is this? I don't remember this dungeon here. Fetch Delve. Let's repair these guys here. I didn't even pick up the waypoints. Like this this overworld stuff is like so meaningless to me. But I have to do some hell tides again. I'm down to like 50 Fiend Roses or something like that. I probably need to do like 100 more Fiend Roses until I can create all builds. What is this? It's ghosts. I don't care about these actually. This is easy monsters for me. Oh, I've been here before. Travel to the tunnels. So let's do that. Go away, guys. I just want to like go through here. I remember this dungeon. Destroy fallen idols. You do that. Oh, these idols. Ah, you have to be careful. So if you have these idols, you don't want to teleport in the middle of them. Because if you're like exactly in the middle, they're gonna pretty much hit you with like every single fireball or fireball, what I don't even know what it is. And you're just gonna straight up die. So just keep that in mind. Like these fireballs, if you go right in the middle, you're dead. I mean, sometimes you're lucky and you survive, but I just wouldn't recommend jumping inside of these. Gotta learn that the hard way. This is going to be the boss room. Strange. Probably gonna be the boss room, right? Travel to the lair. This is pretty easy, the dungeon, right? It's pretty fast, actually. Now, is there a boss here? Yeah. That's what Oh, this boss also does damage, by the way. But I don't think if he does damage on this level. Okay, I have to remember this dungeon, that it's actually good. I don't understand this boss, though. Doing strange stuff. Right, so I have all my glyphs. Now I can just do the blue ones. The blue ones, the very powerful glyphs. I don't know why they're even in here. I once saw a build guide, like, of a guy. He was using, like, a blue glyph because he wanted to, like, push more non-fist damage to... I don't even know why. To, like, get some other stuff going. And I was like, why would you use a blue glyph, like, ever? And then it was like a serious guide, so I was like, what? So I can probably do like 2 or 3 more dungeons until I'm full, and then I'm gonna call this just gonna be like a quick showcase here. Oh, lightning damage bonus, nice. I'm also out of potions now, so I'm missing a significant amount of armor from now on. Again, I'm using like armor potion because I don't have an armor roll on my amulet. So now I don't have any more armor potions, so I bet I'm not gonna get hit now. There's like so little mobs here. Oh, this dungeon I remember. I don't like this dungeon. It takes forever. But it has the cool boss. The 3 guys. Wait, is it burning? Is this already the new shrine? No. This looks different now. Like this little lightning flame on the icon, that is new. Like they added that sometime. It wasn't there in the beginning at least. This is like a horrible dungeon for this build because just it's like a bunch of like, you know, single target mobs standing around. It's like really absolutely not where this build is any good. Like all the synergy is basically not working at all on these extended periods of no monsters. It's not what you want to play. But I'm stunned. Cannot even like get my cooldowns back because there's just like so few mobs here. Get this back. Wait, I have to go. Where do I have to go? Are you there? It's like such a strange layout. I always felt like it was like, you know, the entrance was on the one side and the other one was on the other side, but I guess it's not. Yeah, I'm gonna pick up the box up using the cooldowns here. Mechanical box. Let's go. This is like... This dungeon like literally has no mobs at all. Are we already at that boss room? That's right. They have to like do some random event. Oh, there's no even a boss room. Okay. What do we have here? There's a hidden chest behind the boss room. at this. This. Level some more blue glyphs. I mean, it's gone pretty solid, I guess. Like for showcase, I'm not really screwing up all that much. Usually I screw up more. Right. Let's do some more stones here. I'm gonna do 1 or 2 more. I guess that should be enough for a showcase. There might be 1 more build then coming up after this. I want to do pure conjurations. I really want to see if it works. You never use... Well, in this build you could actually use a dagger, but it would still... So, basically, you never want to use a dagger ever, is the short story. The long story, a dagger gives you 30% additive damage to close enemies, which is somewhere around 3 to 4% damage. So in like pretty much 99.9% of all builds, the 15% lucky hit chance will be far superior. And even in this build, I would say, even though I'm not using any lucky hit other than, what's it called? Elemental Attunement is pretty much my only lucky hit I'm using here. I would still keep the 15% for Elemental Attunement. So meaningless the damage to close on the dagger is. Long story short, basically. So really, anybody telling you to use a dagger, like, just don't. Like, you can use it in early game, because lucky hit doesn't really do anything in early game, but as soon as you, like, kind of in late game, you really... I don't think there's any legitimate reason in any build to ever use a dagger. Didn't want to do this anymore, I guess. I have to be super careful without the armor. I guess really just the fact that every sorcerer will always use Elemental Attunement. Like even if you not play any lucky hit at all, it will never justify a dagger. Because, like, 15% lucky hit, if you just compare the stats, right? 15% lucky hit is like a major stat. Like, it is really like, obviously, if you're not playing lucky hit at all, it's not so important, but you're always gonna play lucky hit for Elemental Attunement. And 15% lucky hit is like a huge bonus, and 30% additive damage to close is literally nothing. I think they should just change these values. Because, I mean, these values work great in the early game. Like, in the early game, like, 30% additive damage is huge. But in the late game, it's basically worth nothing. So I think, like, a 925 dagger should have more, like, 100% damage to close. To be, like, you know, worth considering. Maybe, like, 75% or something like that. That would be probably, like, a value which... you know, evens out with like 15% lucky hit chance, and most of the builds would still not be using it. But, yeah, I mean, just like, you know, my thinking, how big the value should actually be. But probably, like, honestly, I think the value is just wrong. I think it should be crit chance, because this also makes, like, sense from an RPG point of stand. Yeah, I know damage to close is kind of a dagger thing. Actually, it shouldn't be like, a dagger should have, like, backstabbing damage, but that doesn't exist. So, like, why would it... I mean, I get it, right? You have to be close to use a dagger, but, you know, I'm casting spells, so it doesn't make any sense from an RPG point of view. So, usually what happens is daggers have crit chance. So, if a dagger would have crit chance, that would make more sense, I feel like, because it would just basically... remove the 99% of players playing wands into... Actually, it would probably mix... It would probably go more towards dagger. It would probably change to like 70% of players would be playing dagger. And then the ones which play lucky hit heavy builds would still opt for wands. But that would be a much better, like, way to make daggers even attractive. Or they should just, you know, scratch the whole dagger story and just give it swords. But swords have critical strike damage, right? Yeah. So I don't know. Probably critical strike chance would be nice for Sorceress. Because we basically, you know, in certain builds, we lack the ability to get to very high critical strike values, and that could actually help with it. Oh, no explosion at all. What? Oh. Just took a while, I guess. Let's pick up everything we want. This hopefully not so much. So now and also like this double drop is like so annoying. Like why can't it just directly convert into stones? Why do I have to like pick them up? All these little things annoy me. Also the shattered stones dropping on the ground, they should just be added to your inventory directly. Because usually mobs are going to die behind you and you cannot pick them up. So you will not turn around to pick up those stones. So all those stones basically just, you know, lie on the ground doing nothing. And, you know, I feel like they should just, you know, take the entire gold and stones in the dungeon and just, you know, give it to you after the dungeon and that's it. Because they removed pickup radius, which pickup radius was like an amazing stat in D3, which would basically enable you to pick up more stuff. And since they don't have this attribute anymore, you're kind of like screwed because, you know, you're either going to turn around and pick up the stuff or you're like not going to get the stuff. Alright, so since I'm completely full, this is going to be the last one now. Let's take another copper. No. What do I have here? I want to save my inks. Whatever, I'm gonna take another stone here. I don't have enough space. But not a Death Pulse one. Yeah. I also don't like that Firebolt enchantment is like still so mandatory in pretty much every build. This is also something they should work on, Sorceress. They should like, I don't know, I feel like Firebolt enchantment should be like a skill tree node. Maybe that it even needs like, you know, 5 points. They could probably say, you know, 1 skill point is 20% chance, 5 skill points is 50% chance, 100% chance, or even make it like, you know, maybe like 50% chance max, whatever. But it would remove the necessity of like, you know, playing Firebolt enchantment. And even like in the Meteor builds, you pretty much have to play Firebolt enchantment. Even in a Fireball build, you have to pretty much play Firebolt enchantment. Because, well, Sorceress meta is kind of so structured around damage to burning and damage reduction from burning and Devouring Blaze, critical strike damage to burning. It's like so structured in these categories that you kind of have to make mobs burning. And what happens is, if you like don't use Firebolt enchantment because you say, you know what, I play Firewall, Firewall makes it burning, you know what, I play Meteor, Meteor leaves burning ground, makes it burning. What ends up happening is, you know, when your Meteor hits, the mob is not going to be burning at that point, so it's not going to get the full bonus damage. And then also what happens is, you basically, as soon as you're not using Firebolt enchantment, you're always gonna have significant downtime on burning. Especially, like, for example, for the damage reduction part, right? So, in this build, like, lightning spears are gonna make everything burning regardless. If you don't have Firebolt enchantment and you rely on, you know, for example, Meteor or, like, Firewall to apply the burning from you, you know, stuff which is, like, range is actually just gonna one-shot you because your damage reduction from burning is not gonna work on that. So, there's kind of still, like, Firebolt enchantment is pretty much mandatory on every build, and they cannot really fix that. Which makes, like, you know, the options in skill builds, like, so little, because you're pretty much operating on one enchantment on almost every single build. And if you're not operating on one enchantment, you're probably playing the build in... Well, you're probably playing a worse build. Like, probably if you... Whatever build you play, if you would just add Firebolt enchantment, it would probably be better than the way you're playing this build right now. And that will pretty much count for every build. Because there's really no way to... Well, this one doesn't really want to die. Because there's really no way to apply burning consistently fast enough without Firebolt enchant. Not even in a burning build. That's the most disappointing. Even if you play Firewall, mobs are gonna run out of Firewall, and obviously there's a talent where they burn a little bit longer. So I guess this is, like, pretty much the only legitimate build. But Fireball doesn't scale in endgame, so the burning damage of Fireball will never scale into a good endgame build. Even though if, like, people, like, drive the illusion that it does, it's simply not true. It looks cool, but that's it. Like, the burning damage doesn't scale, no matter how hard you want to scale it. It will always fall, like, significantly behind direct damage. So yeah, there should be, like, changes to these mechanics. Or just give me the third, like, third enchantment slot would probably be even the best, right? So even if you make it, you know, make it a unique item, make it, like, make it expensive, make it an amulet which gives a third enchantment slot. Like, that would be a good trade-off, 50% damage from the amulet for a third enchantment slot, and that would enable so many builds, so many different builds right there. And, well, yeah, obviously, you need an UI designer to do that. And Blizzard obviously doesn't have these. But that's, like, would be a great thing. But it has been, like, said, like, countless times. Like, a third enchantment slot would be so cool. It would be... I don't know, like... I could probably think about, like, 100 different builds right now which could operate on a third enchantment slot. Especially, like, all the conjuration type builds, if you have, like, Ice Blades enchantment, like, basically on top of other stuff. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That was close. Right. That was it. Last one. Oh, wow, I cannot even pick up all this. I'm so full. Okay, let's throw something away. Don't need Distilled Fears, they're not worth anything anymore. Wonderful. Alright, yeah, that was my showcase of my new build. I guess it was a pretty good showcase. Like, I guess I could clearly show that this build is not really like, you know, Glass Cannon. You know, I died a couple of times, but... You know, it's a very straightforward, very fast pushing build, and yeah, so check out the guide if you haven't already, it's in the description, and see you guys next time for the next build.